Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NBA slate on Thursday, March the 16th. We do have a smaller slate tonight, only a 5-game slate. It's not the most exciting slate either. A lot of games that could be blowouts. You got the Pistons facing the Nuggets. You got the Magic facing the Suns. There's a few exciting games like Brooklyn, Sacramento should be a fun one. That's a game I really like, but it's not the best 5-game slate, I'll be honest with you. But I still did find 2 props I like for today, guys. And we're going to change things up a bit. I'm actually going to give out a first half play that I like for today. I don't think I've ever given out a first half play in a YouTube video before. So we have a first half play that we're going to talk about, and then we have an assist prop. We've been doing a lot of fantasy scores lately, but the fantasy scores I've just not been doing well with the fantasy scores. So I'm going to try and change it up a little bit today, give out some different categories that I usually don't target too heavily. So we're going to talk through these 2 plays, guys. We're going to share why I like them. But before we do get started breaking down the plays, as always, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, if you never checked out Prizepicks before, you can sign up for Prizepicks. You can use my promo code Noah. When you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. Definitely check them out if you have not yet. And I do want to recap our 2 plays from yesterday that we gave out in our video yesterday before we talk through today's plays. Yesterday, man, another very frustrating day. Both the plays we gave out yesterday did not hit. We took the over on Tyus Jones' fantasy score. He had like 20 fantasy points heading into the 4th quarter, and the game wound up being a blowout. He didn't play at all in the 4th quarter. Even if the game was competitive, I don't think he probably would have hit. He just didn't have that great of a game. He had like 11 points, 4 rebounds, and like 4 assists and 3 turnovers. It was just not a great game from Tyus Jones, and I felt like his fantasy score line was a little bit too low, even with the tougher matchup against Miami. But Miami did a really good job defensively on him. He just couldn't really get anything going, and the game being a blowout obviously didn't help either. Again, I don't think he probably would have hit anyway, but that game being a blowout, didn't even give him a chance to play in the 4th quarter. And then the other play that we took was Malik Beasley's over fantasy score. And I felt like that was the right read. I had the game log pulled up. Malik Beasley yesterday played 32 minutes. He had 16 points, 3 rebounds, and a steal. But he shot 6 for 17, man. He shot 6 for 17. He shot 4 for 12 from 3. You go back and watch yesterday's video. The reason I like that play so much was because Malik Beasley's a really good 3-point shooter. The Rockets have been giving up a lot of threes this season, and Malik Beasley took a ton of shots yesterday. He just really couldn't get anything going on the offensive end. He just couldn't get in a groove. Shot 6 for 17, came up like 3 fantasy points short. And I'm pretty sure his points prop yesterday was 15.5. He finished with 16 points. So maybe that was something that I should have looked more into, was his points prop instead of fantasy score. But yeah, frustrating day yesterday. Plus the 2 picks I gave out on Patreon, my 2 favorite plays yesterday. I took Jaylen Brown's over fantasy score, which did hit like early in the 4th quarter. And then we took Zach LaVine's over fantasy score. LaVine needed like 2 fantasy points with like 20 seconds left in the game. It was a 4-point game. The Bulls were down by 4. DeMar DeRozan hits a 3, gets fouled, and makes the free throw. So he had a 4-point play. DeRozan had a 4-point play. Tied the game 114 with like 10 seconds left. And I thought, oh, LaVine's going to hit. We're going to go to overtime. He'll get 2 fantasy points in overtime, and we'll be good to go. And of course, De'Aaron Fox runs up the floor, takes a 3 with 2 guys in his freaking face, and drains it, and wins the game. And the Kings win, and the game doesn't go to overtime. And it's like, are you kidding me, man? We get a 4-point play from DeRozan to tie the game, to have a chance to go to overtime, and De'Aaron Fox hits a 3 with 2 guys in his face, and wins the game. It's just like, come on, dude. Like, are you serious? Like, anytime if I'm taking an under and I don't need that game to go to overtime, he's for sure not making that. He's for sure missing it, and the game's gonna go to overtime. But because I needed him to miss it, and I needed the game to go to overtime, of course he just drains a 3 with 2 guys in his face. Frustrating day yesterday, man. It's been a lot of those lately, but that was super annoying. But again, we got 2 picks to talk about today, guys. So let's talk through them. We got a first half play we're going to talk about, and then an assist prop I like for today. So for first half, I actually want to talk about a points prop here, and I want to talk about Nikola Jokic's points prop. It sits at 11.5 on Prizepicks. Normally, for those of you that are unaware how the first half goes, usually they just cut the projection in half. Whatever their full game projection is, they'll just cut it in half for first half. But a lot of times, for first half, you can kind of get an edge, especially if it's a game that could be a blowout. If it's a matchup you really like for a certain player, but you're worried about the game being a blowout, maybe the guy doesn't play in the 4th quarter, you could look to target their first half props. And that's kind of the case here for Nikola Jokic. Really, really good matchup here against the Pistons. This is a spot where Jokic should be able to dominate going up against James Wiseman. Wiseman is just not that good of a defender. He's a young guy. He's definitely under he's not skilled like Jokic is. I wouldn't say he's undersized because Wiseman's actually a pretty big guy, but he's just not that great of a defender, and he's going to have a lot of trouble here with Jokic. I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic gets him in foul trouble too. And we've seen Jokic kind of be like his scoring lately. He's been up and down. He's had some big scoring games. He's also had some like low scoring games. He's been getting a lot of triple doubles lately though. But what really stands out is like the game against San Antonio. I remember taking his first half that day. He had a big scoring game, put up 21 points. That was a matchup I liked a lot. This is a matchup I like a lot. I just don't think the Pistons really have anyone to slow down Jokic. You look at where they rank this season in terms of points allowed to centers. They're not like giving up the most points per game to centers, but they are still just outside the top 10 in terms of points allowed to the center position. In terms of points in the paint, I should have looked this up, see how many points in the paint they're giving up, because we know Jokic likes to do a lot of his scoring like in the paint and around the rim. And Detroit, they are giving up the second most points in the paint this season. So that's another plus to see is that Detroit's giving up a lot of points under the basket where Jokic likes to do a lot of his damage. Plus, taking the over on his first half points, you don't really have to worry about blowout. I mean, if Denver's up by 30 at halftime, Jokic is still probably playing his normal 17, 18 minutes that he plays in the first half. Whereas, like, if you take the full game and let's say he has like 14 points at halftime, and then in the third quarter he scores like 6 points, has 20 points, but the Nuggets are winning by like 30 at the end of the third quarter, and the game is a blowout. Jokic doesn't play in the fourth quarter. That's a scenario where I could see maybe he has a really big first half, but doesn't do much in the second half just because they're up by so much. This game does have like a 14.5 point spread, so there's a good chance Jokic does not play his full fourth quarter minutes. He might not even play in the fourth quarter here, but he should play normal minutes in the first half. I mean, even in a blowout, like even if Detroit's losing by like 30 at halftime, Jokic is still going to play his normal minutes in the first half. So I think we're going to get 17, 18 first half minutes from Jokic like we normally do. You look at his first half game log this season. I mean, he's basically been going over like half of the games this season. Over his last 25, he's had 12 points or more. I think it's 13 out of his last 25 games. He's had at least 12 points in the first half. He's had at least 12 points in the first half in 2 out of his last 5. Again, some of these matchups, though, have been kind of tough. Like, he's had to face Toronto, a good defensive team. He's had to face them twice, actually. Chicago's been pretty good defensively against bigs, but we saw him do really well against the Spurs. Great matchup. We saw him do really well against Brooklyn. Another good matchup for centers. This should be a good matchup for centers going up against Detroit, one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and a Detroit team that gives up the second most points in the paint, where Jokic likes to do a lot of his scoring. Plus, if you look at his game log versus the Pistons, he's had a ton of success against the Pistons. Last few games against them, 31 points, 28 points, 34, 20, 27, 16, 39, 23, 16. That's full game. Now, if you take a look at first half, 16, 19, 18, 13, 16, 11, 19, 18, 14, 13. So basically over his last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically his last 10 games against the Pistons, he's had at least 12 points in the first half in 9 out of those 10 games. There's only been one game where he didn't have 12 points and he had 11. He came up just short. He lost by the hook. But I like this play a lot. We actually did see his full game prop got bumped. His full game points was at 22.5. It's at 23 now. The first half points, though, still is the same at 11.5. So that's what I like as our first play for today. And if you've never done first half before, if you just go to where like this, you can pick your sport. You see the one that says NBA 1H, that's first half. That's where you can find the Jokic 11.5 points prop. So that's the first play I like for today. And then the other play I like is an assist prop. And I want to talk about Spencer Dinwiddie's assist prop. Sits at 8.5 on Prizepicks. This is another over that I like. And we've seen Dinwiddie's assist numbers be great lately. Last few games, 11 assists, 16 assists, and 11 assists. He's been facilitating a ton. He leads the team in assist percentage this season, 37.6% assist percentage for Dinwiddie since he's been with Brooklyn when you take Ben Simmons off the floor. Taking Ben Simmons off the floor, I think, is pretty important because Ben Simmons is someone that can handle the ball when he's out there. They don't really have a ton of ball handlers right now, and you look at their roster and like their rotation right now. I mean, they're really only playing like 8 guys a night. That last game against OKC, they played 9 guys, but Cam Thomas only played 3 minutes. So they basically ran an 8-man rotation. And you think about this like Nets roster. I mean, the only other guys that will really handle the ball are like Seth Curry, Royce O'Neal maybe, and maybe Mikal. But like Mikal's not a guy that's gonna handle the ball a ton. He's more of like a wing shooter. Dinwiddie's gonna have the ball in his hands a ton. take a look at his like touch time this season. Since he's been with Brooklyn, he's been dominating time of possession. He's averaging 7.8 minutes of touch time per game, which to like, for example, Kyrie Irving, when he was on Brooklyn, he averaged 5.7 minutes of touch time. Kevin Durant averaged 4.2 minutes of touch time. And Spencer Dinwiddie's averaging 7.8 minutes of touchdown. He's just the ball is in his hands like a ton. His potential assists have been amazing lately. Over their last 3 games, since he's been averaging 11, 16, 11 assists, he's had 21 potential assists over that 3-game stretch. The next highest guy is Royce O'Neal with 5.3 potential assists. So that just shows you that all the ball handling is coming through Dinwiddie. A lot of their assists are coming through Dinwiddie. This is a really good matchup against Sacramento. Sacramento this season is allowing the 5th most assists per game to point guards. And this is one of the best games on the slate, as I mentioned. This is not the most exciting 5-game slate, but this Brooklyn-Sacramento game does look to be one of the most exciting games. It's got a 238 total, which is the highest on the slate, or it's actually tied with Milwaukee, Indiana for highest on the slate. And it's got a 2.5-point spread. So this is a game that should be competitive. We're seeing Dinwiddie play almost 40 minutes in competitive games lately. Last game against OKC, he played about 40 minutes. A lot of the Nets starters played really, really big minutes. Cam Johnson played 39. Bridges played 38. Dinwiddie played 39. DFS played 34, and Claxton played 39. And then, like I said, the only guys who got minutes off the bench really were Royce O'Neal. He played 17 minutes. Seth Curry played 18, and Joe Harris played 11. Cam Thomas got minutes, but he only played 3 minutes, and that was in the first quarter. So I think we can expect Brooklyn to continue to run a tight rotation. They're fighting for playoff position right now. This is a really good matchup. It's a great game environment. Dinwiddie should play big minutes here, and his assist numbers have been great lately. The ball handling's been great lately. And plus, you take a look at DraftKings Sportsbook and their odds on this play. Right now, the over 8.5 assists for Dinwiddie is minus 135. So odds are heavily favoring the over here. Give me the over on 8.5 assists for Spencer Dinwiddie as our second play for today. So we're going to change it up a little bit, guys. I know I've been doing, again, a lot of fantasy scores lately, but I want to change it up a little bit, see if we can find a groove in some other categories, maybe get a win tonight. I know it's been frustrating lately. I'm pretty sure the last time I gave out a winning 2-pick entry on YouTube was like 2 weeks ago. It's been so bad. But these are 2 plays I do like for this Thursday slate. Nikola Jokic over 11.5 first half points, and then Spencer Dinwiddie over 8.5 assists. I will be sharing some more plays today over on Patreon. Not sure how many plays I'll be giving out today because it is kind of a smaller slate, but we'll see what else I can find. If you guys want more Prizepicks plays from me, you can check out the Patreon linked down below in the description. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. As always, make sure you hit that like button down below if you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, go check out Prizepicks. You guys can sign up for Prizepicks. You can use my promo code NOAH. When you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But that's all that I got for tonight, guys. Wish you the best of luck on this slate. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.